सलवात नबी। है शाम के लोगों मैं बिनते अली हूँ, है शाम के लोगों मैं बिनते अली हूँ। मैं वारिस तत्हीर हूँ, मैं वारिस तत्हीर हूँ, नामों से नबी हूँ। ऐ शाम के लोगों मैं बिनते अली हूँ। बाजार से दरबार में ले आए हो मुझको, चाहूँ तो जला सकती हूँ खुतबों से मैं तुमको। साबिर की बहन हूँ जो मैं खामोश खड़ी हूँ। ऐ शाम के लोगों मैं बिनते अली हूँ। अफसोस कनीज़ी में उसे मांग रहे हो, तुम जिसके गुलामों के गुलामी में रहे हो। ये जुल्म न होगा कभी, मैं जिंदा भी हूँ। ऐ शाम के लोगों मैं बिनते अली हूँ। जिंजान था दो दर दर के हमेशा ही लड़े हो, अब सर है तो फोटों पे चढ़ी मार रहे हो। तुम कितने बहादुर हो मैं ये देख रही हूँ। ऐ शाम के लोगों मैं बिनते अली हूँ। तुम अपने पैगंबर को अगर देखना चाहो, नेज़े पे जो ये सर है इसे गौर से देखो। हम शक्ल पैगंबर है ये, मैं उसकी फूफी हूँ। ऐ शाम के लोगों मैं बिनते अली हूँ। और इससे खतन वक्त क्या होगा मेरे महबूब, फिजा के तरफदार है दरबार में मौजूद। मैं पुष्प फिजा के खड़ी देख रही हूँ। ऐ शाम के लोगों मैं बिनते अली हूँ। ज़हरा को भी दरबार में तुमने था बुलाया, दरबार में मैं भी हूँ मगर फ़र्क है इतना, पर्दे में थी वो और मैं बेपर्दा खड़ी हूँ। ऐ शाम के लोगों मैं बिनते अली हूँ। जंजीरों में जकड़ा जो ये बीमार खड़ा है, सजदे से काबे की फसीलों ने किया है। मनसब में बड़ा वो है मैं रिश्ते में बड़ी हूँ। ऐ शाम के लोगों मैं बिनते अली हूँ। ऐ शाम के लोगों मैं बिनते अली हूँ। सलवात नबी। माइक बिस्मिल्लाह।
मोहम्मद वाल मोहम्मद सलवात। या इमाम रज़ा इल्तिजा है, या इमाम रज़ा इल्तिजा है। ताल दो हर भला ये दुआ है, या इमाम रज़ा इल्तिजा है। या इमाम रज़ा इल्तिजा है, या इमाम रज़ा इल्तिजा है। गिरफ्तार हम मुश्किलों में, देख लो हमको हैं उलझनों में, है गिरफ्तार हम मुश्किलों में। देख लो हमको है उलझनों में, बस तुम ही से हमें आसरा है। या इमाम रज़ा इल्तिजा है, या इमाम रज़ा इल्तिजा है। बेकसों की कुछ इमदाद कर दो, मुश्किलों से अब आज़ाद कर दो। बेकसों की कुछ इमदाद कर दो, मुश्किलों से अब आज़ाद कर दो। हाथ में जब रज़ाए खुदा है, या इमाम रज़ा इल्तिजा है। या इमाम रज़ा इल्तिजा है, या इमाम रज़ा इल्तिजा है। हम है मौला तुम्हारे मवाली, बन के आए हैं दर पर सवाली। हम है मौला तुम्हारे मवाली, बन के आए हैं दर पर सवाली। खाली दामन ये पहला हुआ है, या इमाम रज़ा इल्तिजा है। या इमाम रज़ा इल्तिजा है, या इमाम रज़ा इल्तिजा है। रोज़ी रोटी से जो है परेशान, मुश्किलें कर दो अब उनकी आसान। रोज़ी रोटी से जो है परेशान, मुश्किलें कर दो उनकी अब आसान। तुमसे उम्मीद सबसे सिवा है, या इमाम रज़ा इल्तिजा है। या इमाम रज़ा इल्तिजा है, या इमाम रज़ा इल्तिजा है। मुहम्मद वाल मुहम्मद सलवात।
Let's start 3 times. Salawat for Maulana.
MashaAllah, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah al-ali al-azim. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل، نعم المولى ونعم النصير. ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري، واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي جعل الحمد مفتاحا لذكره وسببا للمزيد من فضله ودليلا على آلائه وعظمته. ثم الصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على النبي الأمي المكي المدني الهاشمي الذي سمي في السماوات بأحمد وفي الأراضين بأبي القاسم محمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى أهل بيته الأطيبين الأطهرين سيما أولهم أمير المؤمنين وآخرهم بقية الله في الأراضين روحي وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء ورحمة الله على محبيهم ومواليهم وشيعتهم أجمعين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم ملعونين. Amma ba'd, for the happiness of Hazrat Zahra Marziya, for the enlightenment of the graves of the Marhumin, of the graves of the Shuhada, Ulama and Siddiqeen, for the safety of the followers of Ahl al-Bayt around the world, and for the safety and the hastening of the reappearance of Hazrat Baqiyatullah al-A'zam, Arwahun al-Fida, please recite your loudest salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, Ya Allah, forgive our sins. Ya Allah, forgive the sins of our parents. Ya Allah, those of our parents that are alive, give them long lives. Those of our parents that have left this world, give them a place next to Ali Muhammad in Jannah. Oh Allah, those who are ill, give them shifa'ah. Those who are in debt, clear their debts. Ya Allah, keep safe the Shia of Ahl al-Bayt around the world. Ya Allah, give victory to the people of Palestine. Ya Allah, destroy the oppressors wherever in the world they may be. Ya Allah, give us tawfiq to go on the ziyarat of Abu Abdullah and Imam ar-Ridha this year and every year. Ya Allah, hasten the reappearance of the Imam of our time and allow us to be amongst his true muntadhareen, his true awaiters, for the acceptance of these du'as and any other du'as that you brothers and sisters have brought. Please recite another of your loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. We have gathered in order to commemorate the istishhad of Imam ar-Ridha alayhi salatu wassalam, the 8th Holy Imam. And what I have wanted to do for this lecture is analyze a hadith of the Imam, where the Imam alayhi salam talks about 3 characteristics that the believer must possess from 3 groups or 3 individuals. So the Imam, he says, لا يكون المؤمن مؤمنا حتى يكون فيه 3 خصال. Says none can, or a believer is not a believer until and unless he possesses 3 characteristics. سنة من ربه وسنة من نبيه وسنة من وليه. Says a characteristic from the Lord, a characteristic from the Prophet, and a characteristic from the Wali and the Hujjah of Allah. Says every mu'min must possess these 3 things and must take them from these 3 groups or these 3 entities. The first thing that the Imam says, that the sunnah of Allah, فَسُنَّةٌ مِّن رَبِّهِ, and in regards to that characteristic from the Lord, كِتْمَانُ السِّرِّ, the first characteristic from the Lord is the one of hiding secrets or of keeping secrets. قال Allah, and then the Imam continues, قال الله عز وجل عالم الغيب فلا يظهره على غيبه أحدا إلا من ارتضى من رسول. Says that, and then the Imam quotes the ayah of Surah Al-Jinn, verse number 26, where he says that the knower of the unseen, عالم الغيب, the one that possesses the knowledge of the unseen, and is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he does not reveal these secrets to anyone except to whom he chooses. And as a side note, this is one of the ayat of the Holy Quran that we use to prove the ilm al-ghayb, or support the idea of the ilm al-ghayb of the Imam and of the Hujjah of Allah and his access towards the divine knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That whenever and however the Hujjah of Allah wishes to draw from the divine knowledge of Allah, he can access it and draw down from it. And thus at times the Hujjah chooses to draw from that knowledge, at times he chooses not to. And so this is why you find in the narrations that sometimes someone asks the Imam something and the Imam says, I don't know. But then within the same narration, a few moments later, the Imam is giving the answer. And the mutakallimin, they explain it that the Imam can access the knowledge, but in certain situations, he may not access it, so he doesn't know. And that's not in matters of Sharia. In matters of Sharia, the Imam has total knowledge and access to that knowledge at all times. It's in matters of day-to-day life that the Imam can choose whether or not he has access to it. Anyway, that was a slight segue. The first thing that the believer must possess in order to be a believer is that he must have a characteristic from Allah. And that characteristic is the one who keeps secrets, not to reveal everything that you know. In fact, in another narration, Imam ar-Ridha alayhi salatu wasalam, he says that I call you towards hiding secrets, keeping your secrets in regards to both your deen and your dunya. In regards to the dunya, it's pretty straightforward and easy to understand what the Imam alayhi salam is saying. Don't tell everyone about everything that you know. But then what does he mean in regards to the deen? And this is a matter when a person begins to increase in their ma'rifah and in their knowledge of the religion, then there are certain things that certain people are not ahl of. They are not worthy of that knowledge, or they're not ready for that knowledge. And so this is why the narrations at times say, كَلِّمُ النَّاسِ بِقَدْرِ عُقُولِهِمْ. Speak to people at the level of their intellect. So in one gathering, you may speak about a subject in a particular way. But in another gathering, the very same subject, you will speak about it in a deeper way that will have other sides to the discussion. Not everyone is worthy of that knowledge, both within the sect and outside of the sect. You know, sometimes when it comes to the idea of the wilayah taqweeniyah of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, there are individuals who will not accept the taqweeni wilayah of Ahlul Bayt, the power that Ahlul Bayt have over all of existence. Now, if someone is not ahl, someone is not accepting of that knowledge then is not needed to be shared with them, because they don't have the ma'rifah or the ability to be able to take that knowledge. And so in that case, one hides that, keeps that secret. This is those asrar of Ahlul Bayt. The sixth Imam also has a narration where he says that imtahanu shi'atana inda thalath, test our shi'as at 3 occasions. One of those occasions is inda asrarina, test our shi'as with our secrets. See how they hide them from our enemies. Not everything is to be revealed to everyone. And this applies even to the deen, even amongst followers of Ahlul Bayt. There may be a matter that I can speak about off the minbar with a live stream and everything going, but then I can come off the minbar and speak slightly more in depth about that, because there are certain things that are not for public consumption, as it were, because there is a context to it and you need to understand a lot before you can reach that particular conclusion. So the Imam says, I call you to keeping secrets in regards to your deen and your dunya. Other narrations we have that the one who discloses everything, to disclose everything, is part of kufr, is part of disbelief. So, you know, to keep secrets. Even if the narration says, whatever secrets you know about your enemy, it is not jaiz for you to expose them. It's not allowed for you to even expose the secrets of your enemy. If you know something about them that is not known by others, it is not allowed for you to expose that to everyone else. And so, at that point, one has to rely on the crutch of silence. That at times, silence is better. And silence is the door towards hikmah. It's the door towards the wisdom. One who, the less a person speaks, the more the abwab of wisdom, the doors of wisdom open for that individual. Some people, I've mentioned before, have a disease. They need to make a comment on everything. They need to have an opinion on everything. And so, And more than ever, and some people have that everywhere, but generally most people, which is ironic, is that when it comes to the Husayniyah, that's where everyone has an opinion. When it comes to the religion, that's where everyone has an opinion. This isn't right, that isn't right, this should be. And there's constantly, at times, silence is what will bring you hikmah, silence is what will bring you izzah, silence is what will bring you that waqar and that respect. But and if we develop these issues of this desire to constantly speak when we're younger, then as we get older, it just becomes worse. It becomes worse. And this is why, if you remember, the first time I ever came here, Arba'een, some 2 years ago now, and the topic that we had was how to create the perfect society, looking at the dua of the Imam of our time. And when he talks about the elderly, وَعَلَى مَشَايِخِنَا, the elders of a community, he says, "O Allah, and bestow upon our elders, وَعَلَى مَشَايِخِنَا بِالْوَقَارِ وَالسَّكِينَةِ, give our mashayikh, our elders, waqar, give them this honor, this almost this majesty, was sakina, and softness." The idea of the cranky old man doesn't exist in Islam. There is no such concept. The Islamic concept is that the more elderly a person becomes, the more waqar he has, the more sakina he has. He becomes a source of peace for others. But you go to communities, and at times those that get older and older become a constant thorn in the side of the community. They can't let go. And so there's places where you'll go and the people are like, "Oh man, these elders, they're driving us." No, the Imam says, "Bil waqari was sakina." That's give those that are in that maqam, and that's waqar, that sakina at times comes through silence. So silence has many, many benefits to it. In another narration, Imam ar-Ridha alayhi salam, he also mentions, says, of the signs of the intellect, of the aqil, of the person that has aqil, is that he understands the religion, he has clemency in his dealing with others, he's soft, he's nice in how he deals, and silence as well. For this silence is the door to wisdom, and it brings friends and aids in good works. Anything that you want to do. So the more silent you are, the more friends you'll have. And then towards Akhirul Zaman as well, the 8th Imam has another narration where he says that a time shall come upon the people where safety and good health will be of 10 parts. 9 parts of safety and good health will be in being distant from people, and 1 part will be in silence. So if you want to have that good health, that safety, sometimes it is better to be separate from the people. And then the other time when you are amongst them, to stay quiet. That's the safety and the health of an individual. So silence. But that silence is only in certain occasions. Silence in the face of oppression, not jaiz at all. What is happening in Gaza, what is happening in Pakistan, in Parachinar, in Balochistan, in various areas where Shias of Ahlul Bayt or Muslims are being killed or non-Muslims are being oppressed, then the follower of Ahlul Bayt cannot stay quiet. He has to raise his voice. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam has that famous saying, "Kuna li-zalimi khasman wa lil-mazlumi awna," says that we will oppose every oppressor and we will support every oppressed. There is no distinction. If someone is oppressed, the follower of Ali will always support them. And if someone is an oppressor, the follower of Ali will always stand against them. So the first thing, the first characteristic that the mu'min must have from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, says it's a characteristic for those that have come late. We're looking at a hadith from the 8th Imam. He says the mu'min cannot be a mu'min unless he possesses 3 characteristics. 1 characteristic from God, 1 from the Prophet of God, the 3rd from the wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the first characteristic that he must possess from God is the one of keeping secrets. The second thing that the Imam says, وَأَمَّا سُنَّةُ مِن نَبِيِّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَآلِهِ فَمُدَاوَرَةُ النَّاسِ, says the second characteristic that one must possess from the Nabi of Allah, فَمُدَارَةُ النَّاسِ, says he must have diplomacy in regards to his interactions with people. فإن الله عز وجل أمر نبيه صلى الله عليه وآله, for Allah has ordered His Prophet in the Holy Quran towards mudarat nas, towards diplomacy with the people. And He says to him, خذ العفو وأمر بالعرف وأعرض عن الجاهلين. That the Holy Prophet is advised by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about three things, and that is that forgive the people. Second is that enjoin good upon them. And the third is turn aside, move away. وَأَعْرِضْ عَنِ الْجَاهِلِينَ. Those that are ignorant, just move away from them. No need to engage in conversation. Just say, okay, no problem. Just nod, smile, carry on. As in Surah Al-Furqan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that وَعِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنَ الَّذِينَ يَمْشُونَ فِي الْأَرْضِ فَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. That when the ibad of the Rahman, those that are the servants of the beneficent Lord, when they walk upon the earth, they walk humbly. And when they are encountered or they face an ignorant person, they say salam. They just say salam to them and they carry on. They don't engage in a lot of conversation with them. I want to spend a little bit of time on this idea of diplomacy and draw lessons from the life of Imam ar-Ridha, because there are two particular points in the history of the A'imma alayhimus salam that for the untrained mind may be considered to be controversial. And that is the peace treaty of Imam al-Hassan with Muawiyah, and the second is the accepting of the heir apparency by Imam ar-Ridha from Ma'mun. Many people in both of these occasions turned against the Hujjah of Allah. They said, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? In the time of Imam al-Hassan, the people didn't understand. They said, you've signed a peace treaty with Muawiyah, the one that was hell-bent on killing your father. And now you've gone and you've signed a peace treaty with him. And the Imam says that if I hadn't done this, there wouldn't be a single Shia left on the face of this earth. They would have all been killed. But people didn't understand at that time. Only later on did it become apparent what the Imam meant to do. And similarly with the time of Imam ar-Ridha alayhi salam, Ma'mun is the Khalifa. And he approaches Imam ar-Ridha to become his heir apparent, the one who will take over after his death. And the Imam accepts, fast forward, but there are certain caveats. Ma'mun himself had three aims through doing this. The first aim was that he wanted to make out that the Imam was someone who was obsessed with the dunya. And so he accepted the Zahiri kingship in this dunya. The second aim was to give legitimacy to his own government. Bani al-Abbas had been dealing with this issue from Abu al-Abbas al-Safa. From that time, right at the beginning, when they had first arisen, and the people began to say, well, you started to rise in the name of Ahlul Bayt, but then you took everything for yourselves. And this is why none of the A'imma alayhimus salam, even in the early times from Imam al-Baqir, Imam al-Sadiq, they never sided with them, they never showed any sort of support. They knew what would happen. And so they were forever in this state of being in a constant inferiority complex with regards to Bani Hashim and especially to Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Even though Bani al-Abbas were from the family of the Prophet, were from the lineage of Abbas, the uncle of the Prophet. And even though they would openly claim that Ahlul Bayt were their cousins and stuff, but there was a great enmity. The most amount of Sadat, especially the Hassani Sadat that were killed, were during the time of Bani al-Abbas. In fact, Mutawakkil Abbasi had created a whole museum under his palace of the heads of the Hassani Sayyids. All of their heads severed, and he would remove and keep their skulls and put underneath the name of who it was. And he had a whole museum that he had created underneath the palace, that when he died, his son came and destroyed that. But it was all of the severed heads of the Hassani Sadat. Hundreds of Hassani Sadat, if not thousands, were killed during this period by Bani al-Abbas. So there was always this desire to try and bring some sort of legitimacy to their government. So the second thing that Ma'mun is attempting to do is by bringing Imam ar-Ridha into the fold and making him his heir apparent, it is giving some element of legitimacy to his government. The third reason that he did this was to cause fitna amongst the Alawites, amongst the Alawiyin. Those that are from the children of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Because remember, these are from Bani al-Abbas, but the Alawis were the children of Amir al-Mu'mineen. And then from amongst the Alawis, the Fatimis. But the Alawis as a whole, that were the children of Amir al-Mu'mineen from other wives, were greater in number than the Fatimi Sadat at that time. So the main idea was that the Fatimis and the Alawis, to make them begin to fight amongst each other. And many did begin to question Imam ar-Ridha alayhi salam. They were like, why are you joining Ma'mun? And so this rift was to some extent caused amongst the Alawi Sadat as to why it is that Imam ar-Ridha alayhi salam had chosen to become the heir apparent of Ma'mun. Initially, when this is suggested to the Imam is in Medina, the Imam rejects it. However, the soldiers that have come make it very clear to the Imam that if you do not join, you will be killed. And so the Imam is forced out of Medina. But the Imam, although accepting on the face of it, does three things in order to make his position known. The first thing is that when he left Medina, he told his whole family to mourn for him. And they said to him that anyone who goes on the journey, you don't mourn for them. And the Imam says, no, this journey, there is no return from it. So stand around me and mourn for my loss. That was the first thing. The second thing that the Imam did is that on multiple times on the same day, he bid farewell to Rasulullah. So he would go into the masjid, he would cry, he would wail, and he would leave, and then he would return again and do this, so that the people constantly saw that the Imam was very upset of being forced to leave from here. Then when the Imam leaves, the third thing that the Imam does is when he reaches Marv, modern day Turkmenistan, where it is right now, this is what the region of Marv extended to and was based around. So when the Imam reaches Marv, again, Ma'mun, he offers Imam this heir apparency, and the Imam rejects it. And he says to Ma'mun at that time, in front of everyone, he says, this wilayat that you are giving to me, there are only two options. Either it is yours that you are giving it to me, or it's not. If it's not yours, then you have no right to then pass it on. And if it is, then it is your right, this wilayah that you are apparently giving to me, that making me your waliya ahad, says this, if it is yours, this wilayah that you have, and you're passing it on to me, then imamate is not kingship. So again, you have no right to pass it on like this. Again, Imam made his position known amongst the people. But Ma'mun again insists and says, if you don't, we will kill you. So the Imam alayhi salam is forced into accepting it. But then he puts a caveat. He says, I will accept. However, you cannot interfere. There can be no interference from you in regards to the way that I run this area. So openly showing that he doesn't support what Ma'mun is doing, the government of Ma'mun and everything that Ma'mun is about. Says, you can't interfere. I will govern in the way that I deem fit. You have no say here. Ma'mun accepts. And the Imam is placed in that position. Now the Imam alayhi salam, his coming to Marv, though on the face of it, we're talking about diplomacy. The Holy Prophet was a diplomat as well. The various marriages that the Holy Prophet had, you know, where the hadith is saying, take from the Prophet diplomacy and how to deal with people. The marriages of the Prophet, the 9 wives that the Prophet had, each of them was based upon a strategic alliance with various tribes. So when he marries Safiya, Safiya is the daughter of Huway ibn Akhtab, who is the leader of Khaybar that was killed in the Battle of Khaybar. So the Prophet marries Safiya in order to keep some level of control over those tribes and the various other tribes as well that the Prophet then married from in order to keep the various tribes that were around. So this was a form of the diplomacy of the Prophet. Now here, Imam ar-Ridha alayhi salam, although on the face of it, the Shi'as, the Alavis, the other Sadats, they're saying that, why are you accepting this? He's an open enemy of ours. But they don't understand. Similarly, as I said at the start, to the situation of Imam al-Hassan. But the effect of Imam ar-Ridha coming to Marv and accepting this heir apparency were 2 main effects. One of the first things, as Imam began to settle, he said to Ma'mun, Ma'mun, you need to leave from here. Because if you're worried about a threat to your throne, then it's not from here, it's from Baghdad. You need to go to Baghdad. So Ma'mun, in the early days of the heir apparency of the Imam, leaves the area of Marv and he goes to Baghdad and establishes it and makes Baghdad the capital of the Muslim empire. And he remains there. Now with him out of the way, Imam ar-Ridha alayhi salam is able to now establish the Shi'as in this area. They were allowed to openly commemorate, they were openly celebrate, openly ask the Imam questions, such that Marv became the capital of Shi'ism. Khurasan became the capital of Shi'ism. All of the riwayat that we have about the importance of the ziyarat of Imam ar-Ridha being more important and having more reward than the ziyarat of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, 70, 700, 7,000, the one that goes and does the ziyarat of Imam ar-Ridha. We mentioned it in the Wiladat Majlis, so I don't need to go over all of those narrations again. But the importance of it was to reaffirm and make sure that this area of Khurasan, that land where the Imam is buried, shall become the capital of Shi'ism. And it did. The Imam came, and after him, around 5,000-6,000 Sadat came to Iran. Now if you see in Iran, there are over 5,000 or 6,000 Imamzadeh, they call them, the descendants of either the direct descendant of an Imam or a grandson of an Imam buried in that area, from south all the way to the north. Nobody understood that at that time, what the Imam was doing, what was the purpose of him coming all the way to Marv, coming all the way to Khurasan, accepting that heir apparency. But today we understand that the only superpower in the Middle East right now is that very same country. The only Shia government on the face of this earth is that place. Everywhere else has some Shias here and there, but a fully Shia government, a fully Shia constitution, it's only the Islamic Republic of Iran. And this is that idea that Imam ar-Ridha had, that this is that knock-on effect. At that time, people didn't understand. But as time goes on, people come to realize. So that was the first thing, to establish a capital of tashayyu' within the world. a capital that will remain. The second reason was, or the second effect of the Imam coming there, was an increase in the ma'rifah of the Shi'as of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, to increase in their ma'rifah. You see the narrations that Imam ar-Ridha alayhi salam is speaking in regards to what the Ahlul Bayt are. Up until this time, these narrations were not umumi, were not for everyone. They were only for the khawas. So you'll find Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam or Imam al-Baqir, they're telling these certain realities, but they're only telling it to someone like Abu Basir, who is one of the Ashab al-Sir, one of the closest companions. And they're telling him of the maqam of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. But when it comes to Imam ar-Ridha alayhi salam, especially if you look at the famous chain narration, Silsilat al-Dhahab, the golden chain narration from Imam ar-Ridha, where he says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, La ilaha illallah hisni, that La ilaha illallah is my fort. Whoever enters into this fort, amana min adhabi, is saved from my punishment. And then the Imam goes a few steps forward. He says, however, there are some requirements, some shurut with this, that you cannot enter into the fort of La ilaha illallah except with certain requirements. And he says, and I am from one of those requirements. Meaning the wilayah of the hujjah of Allah is what is necessary for one to enter into the realm of La ilaha illallah. Without the wilayah of the hujjah of Allah, one cannot understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nor can one ever achieve that realm of tawheed. So the second effect that the Imam had was to raise the level of the ma'rifah of the Shi'as of Ahlul Bayt in that time, such that they would be ready for, like when Imam al-Hadi would recite Ziyarat Jami'ah Kabira, that up until this point people weren't ready, but Imam ar-Ridha, through the constant debates that Ma'mun, he was plotting, trying to humiliate the Imam. He would bring in the Christians, he would bring in the Hindus, he would bring in the Jews, he'd bring scholars from all over the world, the atheists, and he would say, come and debate with the Imam. And they would all be brought in one by one. You see, the books of history are filled with the debates of Imam ar-Ridha. And that's why he was given the title of Alim Ali Muhammad, that he is the Alim of Ali Muhammad, because whoever came to debate him, whoever Ma'mun brought to him, the Imam alayhi salam never lost a single debate. In fact, the Imam defeated every single one that came. This also gave rise to that ma'rifah of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. It gave the Imam an opportunity to introduce who the Imam was, what that divine leadership was, what that divine guidance was from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and what it meant to be the hujjah of Allah upon the earth. So all of this ma'rifah, preparing the Shi'as, raising them for one of the greatest tests that would happen to the Shi'as in the history of Tashayyu'. Imam ar-Ridha had prepared the ground such that this test did not faze a single Shia and no deviancy was created. You know what that test was? That a child shall be made Imam. Imam al-Jawad, the son of Imam ar-Ridha, the first time a child on the Zahir has become Imam. But you will find no deviancy. In the death of all the previous Imams, there was always a splinter group that came. But when it comes to Imam ar-Ridha, there's no splinter group. Upon the appointment of Imam al-Jawad, there's no splinter group. In fact, with Imam ar-Ridha, when Imam ar-Ridha became Imam, Imam al-Kadhim died, Imam ar-Ridha's own brother, Ibrahim ibn Musa, rejected the imamate of Imam ar-Ridha. He said, no, my father was the Mahdi, he's gone into Ghaiba and he will return. My brother is not the Imam. His own brother, the blood brother of Imam ar-Ridha, the son of Imam al-Kadhim, rejects the imamate of Imam ar-Ridha. But Imam ar-Ridha had done so much work on Tashayyu' and raised the level of the Shi'as to such an extent that now when a child on the Zahir is brought forward and they say that this is the Imam, no one bats an eyelid. They've realized that the Hujjah of Allah, it doesn't matter whether the Hujjah of Allah is 70 or 7 or 5 or 50. So when he has been appointed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he is the Hujjah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regardless. So this was the diplomacy of Imam ar-Ridha that some didn't understand. So the second characteristic that the mu'min must have, or else he is not a mu'min, is that he must take diplomacy from the Prophet of Allah. Then the third thing Imam ar-Ridha says, وَأَمَّا سُنَّةُ مِنْ وَلِيِّهِ, and in regards to the characteristic that he must take from the wali of Allah, فَالصَّبْرُ فِي الْبَأْسَاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ, it is to be patient in ease and in difficulty. فإن الله عز وجل يقول والصابرين في البأساء والضراء. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, they are the patient ones that are patient in ease and difficulty. Take from the sunnah of the wali of Allah the idea of patience, that in both difficulty and ease. Patience in difficulty makes sense. But what about patience in ease? What do I need to be patient for? See, patience is not just in the face of trials. Patience can be in the face of sin. When things are going good, I can very easily turn away from the ibadat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When I'm celebrating, I can use those celebrations and make them haram, for example. A wedding is a good celebration. It is something that is mustahab, but I can ruin it and make it all haram by having a mixed gathering where hijab isn't being observed, where music is being played, all of it's kamila, now it's haram. Something that should have been the spiritual ascension of the Prophet, of an individual, is now destroyed because of what? Because of implementing and bringing in haram into that gathering. And so that first spiritual step is already corrupted. And then this has knock-on effects into generations after generations. It's just we don't see it. We don't realize it. That we start that pure, starting with something that is haram, then later on the effect of it is manifest. And so sabr, patience, looking, when I have this ease, can I be patient and not do haram, not do sin? I need to be patient. When I'm even in ease and in difficulty. It says from the Hujjah of Allah, learn patience in ease and difficulty. If a mu'min doesn't possess these three, from Allah, the hiding of secrets, from the Prophet of God, diplomacy amongst the people, and the third, to be patient from the wali of Allah, to be patient in the face of difficulties and in ease. The Imam says a person cannot be a mu'min if they don't have these three things. No, the mu'min is the one that possesses all of these three. He hides the secrets of people. He keeps their secrets. He doesn't expose individuals. The second thing is that he's diplomatic in his interactions with people. He has basira in what he's doing. He's not reactionary. He sets up and he knows what is to happen. He looks forward. Every action knows that this world is a cause and effect world. Every action has a reaction. The fact that we are where we are in our lives is as a result of something that we have done. There will be the tawfiq that people get is different. You know, everyone has different levels of tawfiq. And that's based on things that they may have done. Some have tawfiq to attend the majlis. Some have tawfiq to attend late. Some have tawfiq only for the majlis, or some have tawfiq to sit outside the whole time. Others have tawfiq to attend the majlis, but not have tawfiq from Allah to do the azadari of Imam al-Hussein. Some get that far, but then don't have tawfiq for namaz-e-jamaat. I was joking yesterday, I said, you know, sometimes when it comes to Salat al-Jama'ah, And sometimes, one gets that feeling of Muslim ibn Aqil, because by the time I finished Salat al-Isha, where is everyone? The hall was full during the lecture, but then when it came to Salah, like nobody's there. And by the time we get to Isha, like the one wajib thing that we have to do, everything else is mustahab. The one wajib thing, we're out of here. Yeah? So what lesson are we giving? What example are we setting for the next generation, for us? It's all about tawfiq min Allah. And at times, one has to struggle towards that. One has to sit for those extra 15 minutes. Oh God, I'll have to have a conversation with someone. It's good. Have a conversation with mu'mineen. Sit down, have tea, have conversations. Because that is a great ibadah, to sit amongst the mu'mineen, to converse, to know. These moments, وَالْفُرَصَةُ تَمَرُّ مَرَّ السَّحَابِ. These moments, these opportunities are like clouds, Amir al-Mu'mineen says. They'll go, they'll pass you by. You're not going to get them again. That moment, that one time to sit amongst the mu'mineen, to take part in Salat al-Jama'ah, all of this, you get it once a week at most. Okay, granted, this week we're asking a lot. 3 times in the week we're going to ask for Salat al-Jama'ah. 4 if you count Jum'ah. But inshallah, we can push through. I know it's midday, but Wednesday, Thursday, Wednesday you got a day off as well. So you got Tuesday, or Monday, Tuesday. You've got Wednesday a day off. I'm not going to ask you to recite Salat al-Jama'ah then. And then Thursday, and then Salat al-Jum'ah, whoever can make it. Like this is a rare blessing that we have. So inshallah, try and utilize, especially when it's at awwal waqt. And don't deprive the mu'mineen of sawab. What do I mean by that? So because those who stay for Salat al-Jama'ah, they say that if it's beyond 3 people, the thawab is uncountable. The more people you have, the more that thawab becomes. So by you leaving, not attending Salat al-Jama'ah, you're depriving the mu'mineen of some thawab. So and do it as a favor to someone else, and stay and take part in it. The whole program, because it's part and parcel of the community growing. So have that desire to grow, that spiritual inclination. It's all there, and inshallah we try and get it over quickly. Don't try and make it too long. And now inshallah we're finishing early as well. There's plenty of time. And I think yesterday we finished by like 9:05, and everyone could have been home. So these are things that will strengthen a community, will strengthen a program, will continue to allow us to develop. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. So patience in the face of ibadah, it requires patience. Ubudiyya requires patience as well. It doesn't just come. No, it's about being patient. It's about pushing through that difficulty to be able to reach the ease of the akhirah after that. So 3 things that the Imam says. The Imam says that the mu'min is not a mu'min unless he possesses 3 characteristics. A characteristic from God, characteristic from the Prophet, and a characteristic from the Hujjah of Allah. The characteristic from God is hiding secrets, keeping secrets of people. The characteristic from the Hujjah, from the Prophet of God, is to be diplomatic in your dealing with the people. The third is the characteristic from the Wali of Allah, is to be patient in difficulties and in ease. And the Hujjah of Allah shows this. Karbala is testament to that. The patience of Aba Abdullah in the face of all of those difficulties. The patience of Imam ar-Ridha alayhi salam. It's not easy leaving your home. Imam ar-Ridha alayhi salam was forced out of Medina. That's why over and over he would go to the mosque of the Prophet crying, not wanting to leave Medina. He gathered his family members around him and told them, all of you stand around me, mourn and cry for me. They said, Ya Ibn Rasulillah. Sisters came forward and said, brother, why would we mourn over you? You don't mourn for someone that's going on a journey. The Imam said, no, this journey is a one-way journey. I will not return from this. Mourn for me. The Imam leaves Medina and he reaches Marv. A period of 3 years, the Imam is there and he is doing tabligh and raising the Shias until Ma'mun can no longer bear the amount of love that the Imam is receiving. Fearful, he comes to Marv, he invites the Imam to his palace. Imam, as he's leaving the home, he turns to his servant Aba Salt. He says, Ya Aba Salt, if you see me returning from the palace of Ma'mun with my aba on my head, know that I have been poisoned. Do not speak to me. Just let me do what I need to do. Imam alayhi salam, he enters into the palace. Ma'mun presents the Imam with the grapes. The Imam consumes one of the grapes that Ma'mun had laced with poison. As soon as the Imam consumed that grape, he stood to leave. Ma'mun says, where are you going? The Imam says, to the place that you wish to send me. The Imam leaves. Aba Salt says, I stood outside. The distance between the palace of Ma'mun and the house of Imam ar-Ridha was very short. He says that I was pacing up and down, waiting for Imam ar-Ridha to come out. He says, soon I saw the door of the palace open and the Imam come out with his aba upon his head. And the Imam tried walking and he would fall to the ground. He says the distance was short, but dozens of times Imam ar-Ridha fell to the ground as a result of that poison. The poison was so strong that Ma'mun had given the Imam. Every other Imam suffered for a day or 2 or 3. But Imam ar-Ridha, the poison that he was given it in the morning, and before the time of Dhuhr, the soul of the Imam had left this world. Aba Salt says, I saw the Imam coming, walking and falling. He reached the house. He entered into the room. He says, I saw the Imam. He pulled away the rug from the ground. He threw himself on the cool ground of his room. يَتَمَلْمَلُ تَمَلْمُلَ السَّلِيمِ. He began writhing on the ground like a man bitten by a venomous snake. He says, Aba Salt says, I saw the Imam was whispering something. I listened closely. I heard him saying, oh Jawad, come quickly. My time is near. Aba Salt says, I wondered who was this Jawad. I came out from the room. I saw a young boy standing there. I said to him, who are you? He says, Aba Salt, move out of the way. My father, Imam ar-Ridha, has called me. Imam al-Jawad enters into the room with Imam ar-Ridha. He sits down on the ground. The Imam passes the secrets of Imamate to him. The Imam al-Jawad gives ghusl, gives kafan to the Imam. He recites his Salat al-Mayyit over the Imam. They say the women from a neighboring town came and they showered flowers upon the body of Imam ar-Ridha, such that the whole body of the Imam was covered in a pile of flowers. But Imam ar-Ridha himself tells his companion Rayyan ibn Shabib, he says, Ya ibn Shabib, in kunta bakiyan lishay fabkil al-Husayn, فإنه ضبها كما يضبه الكبش. O son of Shabib, if you want to cry over anything, then cry over my grandfather Hussein, for he was killed in the way that sheep are slaughtered. May my salams be upon the Gharib of Karbala. The women of Khurasan came and threw flowers on the body of Imam ar-Ridha. But when Zainab reached the body of her Hussein, she saw that they had stoned the body of her brother. They had removed the limbs from his body. The only thing a sister could say, Ha anta akhi, are you really my brother Hussein? ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. ماتم حسين.
शाह खुरासान का आता जनाजा है ये, शाह खुरासान का आता जनाजा है ये, पीटो सर अहले अज़ा आता जनाजा है ये, शाह खुरासान का आता जनाजा है ये, पीटो सर अहले अज़ा आता जनाजा है ये, फातिमा के घर से ये निकला ये ताबूत है, फातिमा के घर से ये निकला ये ताबूत है, रो अहले अज़ा आता जनाजा है ये, शाह खुरासान का आता जनाजा है ये, पीटो सर अहले अज़ा आता जनाजा है ये, आगे है अबू सलोट खड़ा रोता है सर पीटता, कि कैसा गज़ब हो गया आता जनाजा है ये, शाह खुरासान का आता जनाजा है ये, पीटो सर अहले अज़ा आता जनाजा है ये, कैसा गज़ब हो गया आता जनाजा है ये, शहर खुरासान में मार गए शाहदी, शहर खुरासान में मार गए शाहदी, फिर मदीना हुआ आता जनाजा है ये, शाह खुरासान का आता जनाजा है ये, पीटो सर अहले अज़ा आता जनाजा है, शोर यही है बपा आता जनाजा है ये, शोर यही है बपा आता जनाजा है ये, मामून मलऊन ने जहर दिया शाह को, शाह खुरासान का आता जनाजा है ये, पीटो सर अहले अज़ा आता खुरासान है, या हुसैन।
या हुसैन, या हुसैन, या मज़लूम बेवतन ये मेरा मौला रज़ा है, मज़लूम बेवतन ये मेरा मौला रज़ा है, हाय जिसको ज़हर लोगों मुसलमान ने दिया है, हाय जिसको ज़हर लोगों मुसलमान ने दिया है, मज़लूम बेवतन ये मेरा मौला रज़ा 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 है, सब आँखें करो बंद दुहा ही है दुहाई, एक बीबी अज़ादारो यहाँ शाम से आई, लिपटी है जनाजे से नहीं सर पे रिदा है, मज़लूम बेवतन ये मेरा मौला रज़ा है, मज़लूम बेवतन मौला रज़ा है, मज़लूम बेवतन ये मेरा मौला रज़ा है, आए हैं जनाजे पे नबी शाह उमम भी, कुलसूम रुक़ैया भी है मासूम कुम भी, वो बीबी भी है करबल में जली जिसकी अबा है, मज़लूम बेवतन ये मेरा मौला रज़ा है। मज़लूम बेवतन ये मेरा मौला रज़ा है। मज़लूम मौला रज़ा। रोते हैं फरिश्ते भी ज़मीं और ज़मां भी, हाय लोहो कलम अर्शे बरी कौनो मकां भी। खैरुन्निसा के लाल के मातम की सदा है। खैरुन्निसा के लाल के मातम की सदा है। मज़लूम बेवतन ये मेरा मौला रज़ा है। मज़लूम बेवतन ये मेरा मौला रज़ा है। ज़ुल्म बे मौला रज़ा है। मामून अब्बासी की इनायत है ये लोगो, हाय आले पैगंबर की अतात है ये लोगो। सैदानियों से ज़रा देखो ये उम्मत की जफ़ा है। मज़लूम बेवतन ये मेरा मौला रज़ा 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 है। सब आँखें करो बंद दुखाई है दुहाई, एक बीबी अज़ादारो यहाँ शाम से आई। लिपटी है जनाजे से नहीं सर पे रिदा है। मज़लूम बेवतन ये मेरा मौला रज़ा है। मज़लूम बेवतन ये मेरा मौला रज़ा है। मज़लूम ये मेरा मौला रज़ा है। बस इतना बता दो मेरा अब्बास कहाँ था। बस इतना बता दो मेरा अब्बास कहाँ था। जब गर्दने शब्बीर पे, जब गर्दने शब्बीर पे खंजर वो रवा था। बस इतना बता दो मेरा अब्बास कहाँ था। बस इतना बता दो ज़हरा के पिसर जाने नबी सैयद वाली, अकबर के कलेजे से सीना कैसे निकाली। जब खाक पे दम तोड़ता, जब खाक पे दम तोड़ता लैला का जवा था। बस इतना बता दो मेरा अब्बास कहाँ था। बस इतना बता दो मेरा मैदान में बेशीर को जब लाए थे शब्बीर, नन्हे अली असगर के जो गर्दन पे लगा तीर, जब बाप के हाथों पे, जब बाप के हाथों पे पिसर तशना दहा था, बस इतना बता दो मेरा अब्बास कहाँ था, बस इतना बता दो मेरा आका मेरा मैदान में क्यों रह गया तन्हा, हाँ दूध न बख्शूं कि मैं ये क्या किया बेटा, ज़हरा का पिसर खाक पे, ज़हरा का पिसर खाक पे जब गिरिया कुना था, बस इतना बता दो मेरा अब्बास कहाँ था, बस इतना बता दो मेरा अब्बास। जब बीबियाँ जलते हुए खैमों के थी अंदर, जब ज़ैनब दिलगीर की छीनी गई चादर, जब गर्दन बीमार में, जब गर्दन माँ में वो तो के गिरा था, बस इतना बता दो मेरा अब्बास कहाँ था, बस इतना बता दो मेरा अब्बास कहाँ था, बस इतना बता दो मेरा अब्बास कहाँ था। या हुसैन 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 या हुसैन। मोहम्मद व आले मोहम्मद सलावत अल्लाह। अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला मुहम्मद व आलि मुहम्मद। बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। अम्मन युजीबुल मुज़्तर्रा इज़ा दआहु, अम्मन युजीबुल मुज़्तर्रा इज़ा दआहु व यक्शिफुस सू, अम्मन युजीबुल मुज़्तर्रा इज़ा दआहु व यक्शिफुस सू, अम्मन युजीबुल मुज़्तर्रा इज़ा दआहु व यक्शिफुस सू, अम्मन युजीबुल मुज़्तर्रा इज़ा दआहु व यक्शिफुस सू। अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला मुहम्मद व आलि मुहम्मद। बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। अल्लाहुम्मा कुन लिवलियिकल हुज्जत इब्निल हसन सलावातुका अलैहि व अला आबाए फी हादिहि अस्साआ व फी कुल्ली साआ वलियन व हाफ़िज़ा वक़ाइदा वनासिरा वदलीला वअईना हत्ता तुस्किनहु अर्दका तौआ वतुमत्तिअहु फ़ीहा तवीला बिरहमतिक या अरहमर राहिमीन। वसल्लि या रब्बी अला मुहम्मद व आलि तय्यिबीन अत्ताहिरीन। अस्सलामु अलैका या रसूल अल्लाह, अस्सलामु अलैका या नबी अल्लाह, अस्सलामु अलैका या मुहम्मद इब्न अब्दिल्लाह, अस्सलामु अलैकी या उम्मुल मुअमिनीन खदीजतुल कुबरा, अस्सलामु अलैका या अमीरुल मुअमिनीन अली इब्न अबी तालिब, अस्सलामु अलैकी या फातिमत अज़्ज़हरा सय्यदती निसाइल आलमीन, अस्सलामु अलैका या इमाम हसन अल मुज्तबा, अस्सलामु अलैका या अबा अब्दिल्लाह व अलल अरवाह अल्लती हल्लत बिफिनाइक, अलैका मिन्नी सलामुल्लाहि अबदन मा बक़ीत व बक़ियल लैल वन नहार। ولا جعله الله آخر لحد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين، بالخصوص سيدي مولاي أبو الفضل العباس ابن أمير المؤمنين وأختيك زينب وأم كلثوم وبنتك سكينة. السلام عليكم يا أهل بيت النبوة جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا مولاه وابن مولاه، السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء، السلام عليك يا بعيد، السلام عليك معين الضعفاء الفقراء، السلطان أبا الحسن علي بن موسى الرضا، كن شفيعنا وشفيع والدينا في يوم الجزاء. السلام عليك وعلى أختك فاطمة المعصومة الطاهرة جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. صلى الله عليك يا ابن الزهراء يا صاحب العصر والزمان. السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن، السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن، السلام عليك يا كعبة الإيمان، السلام عليك إمام الإنس والجان. عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهور الأمر ورحمة الله وبركاته. الفاتحة تسبقها الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين، إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين، اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم.